Hey, so it is not Monday, it's actually Tuesday morning, but we're going to muse anyway. So it's funny to me how there seems to be extremes of generalizations and then specifics. I've noticed that a lot of things lately, it's specific if we're trying to drive a point home, and general if we're trying to prove you wrong. Like if you're being specific, I'll be general to prove your point wrong. And if you're trying to be general, I'll be specific to prove your point wrong. There doesn't seem to be a lot of congruity or like trying to get along. There seems to be intentional strife, like intentional dissension, intentional miscommunication. And it's been very frustrating to me. There's just so much. There's so much. So this morning I woke up thinking about, we got together with some people. I live in a county that's open. And I was talking to them about what I had learned. And what I had learned is that touch is important. It is so important. It is important on an emotional level, but it's also important on a biological level. And don't believe me on anything, please. Trust but verify. We say that all the time. Two-way communication and trust but verify. Trust but verify. So I've been listening to immunologists reading about the immune system, and I'm like, in this day and age with all of this stuff going around, why aren't they the forefront? Why aren't they the ones that are talking to us? Because it just seems like the regular doctors don't seem to understand what the immune system even does. And this one and that one and the other. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I can't do this because I don't want to link them all. And I was like, you know what? Do your own damn research. You need to do what's right for you, right? We say that all the time. But your body is a biome. It's a biome that is individual to you, that was made for you, by you, is fed by you, and what you do and what you're around, your emotions, how you react to things, what you're exposed to, your pets, your kids, your job, your life, your environment. It all makes your biome. And when we touch other people, we get exposed to their biome just a little bit. And then we're not supposed to touch our faces because we're not supposed to get their biomes next to us. And that's the thing, like, it's like introducing a little bit of, it's like going around to different communities. It's kind of like checking out other I don't know, landmarks sometimes, and being around other people and getting to know their biomes. Being around their biomes helps strengthen our biomes. And if she has a little bit of something, or was exposed or held by somebody that had a little bit of something, then I get it. And that's a really cool thing about someone who's breastfeeding, is that I'm not exactly sure. Some people say by kissing the head, others say that by her touching. I don't know, but within our biomes, my body is able to produce the antibodies that she needs to deal with what her biome is dealing with right now, which is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. It is. So separating each other from each other is a bad idea. It's just such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea. It's just, I'm thinking, so I was a sign language interpreter a long time ago. I am not anymore. I can't sign, This is what I just said. But within all of the deaf community is small, because there aren't that many people in the whole scheme of things, right? And they all have their own language, but within each area, they have their own idiosyncrasies. They have their own individual signs. They have their own language. We do that too, I can't remember. We call it pop here, and they call it soda in the South. I was like, you forgot our pop. And I got elbowed, like, we don't have pop. They won't know what you're talking about. You got to call it soda. Like everybody has their own little language. And the more we're separated from each other, and the more we're not around each other, the easier it is to forget that there's another way. So we had a house fire in 2011, and my husband had been traveling since 2009. And with the house fire, he just asked us to go with him. And at that point, I'm like, okay. So we did. And we got a trailer and a truck and we started traveling. And up until that point, this little Iowa girl just thought there was a Southern accent. I had no idea about all the different accents that there were in Mississippi and in Georgia. I didn't know. I didn't know about all the different accents between Texas and New Orleans. You know, like I didn't know. I didn't know about all of that stuff. And it wasn't until I was exposed to it that I learned, geez, there's a ton. And like we lived in a small town just outside of Jackson, Mississippi, and they spoke in a different way than they did when we were down in Moss Point, which is just north of Pascagoula, Mississippi. So we're talking central Mississippi versus South Mississippi, and they're different, completely different. Like that's the one thing we learned in all of our travels, and we only traveled for like 7.5 years, is that I don't understand how we're all one place. We went to 3 different areas in Pennsylvania, and they were all vastly different, but still within a 2-hour drive of each other. You know, it's like we are so big. We are so big, and that we all have different bits and different needs, and that's an awful lot like what the body is like. You know, within towns and within families, we're all vastly different. And what's really cool is kind of like a puzzle, right? Yeah. So if I'm a puzzle piece, I'm a simple puzzle piece, I only have 4 connection points, but those connection points are perfect fits. And they're connected to 4, and they're connected to 4, and they're connected to 4, and they're connected to 4. And when we disconnect, we got a piece missing. And these days, most people just chuck that puzzle. Not us, though. There's only one missing. We keep it, right? And then that's the harder one. That's the challenge puzzle for the puzzle challenges. Anyway, go touch somebody. Or go learn about how things work instead of living in fear. And then nobody will have to be afraid. Anyway, I'm frustrated. I don't know everything, but I know what I know, and I'm learning what I'm learning, and I'm growing where I'm growing, and hopefully you are too. So if you would like a challenge, I urge you to research what an immunologist is and what they have to say, because they've been pretty consistent across the board that this is not working, that masks are doing more harm than good, and social distancing is doing more harm than good. And for you, those of you that are immunocompromised, you're not stuck. You want some great stories about how they got over their immunocompromised, however you say that. You know, they say it is what it is, and you're stuck. So if I'm a stronghold out in the grasslands and you're an exposed land in the desert, chances are we will never come in contact with each other, first of all. But second of all, build some damn walls. Build some walls. It's not impossible. It's just harder. And the important part about building walls isn't just getting the materials there to put them up. It's also to clear away the debris that's helping people get up and over. Yeah. So, what hurts? What harms? What helps? What can't you do? What aren't you able to do? What you can. How can you help? How can you strengthen? How can you build? Because there is always both sides. So if there's anybody speaking to you in limiting speak or in limiting talk, you can't, you'll never, you'll always. How do they know? So I have a person in my life that doesn't like when people talk about what's happening in their life, but their liver is failing. They have a protein that their liver makes that they're, I don't know, just not making anymore. And this protein that the liver makes actually keeps your water levels balanced within your cardiovascular system. And without it, it's called osmosis. It's where like water gets onto the other side. But without it, their body is leaking water into their abdomen. And, you know, for the most part, your digestive system, no, it should be, unless you've got a problem, unless you've got holes in it, your digestive system is a closed loop. Well, it's not even a loop. It's just a closed chute, essentially, where the little pieces do its thing, you know. I guess your food's small enough that the blood kind of sucks it out in the walls of the intestines. But other than that, it's supposed to all be connected. So the fact that she has 15, 16, 17 pounds of water in her abdomen every week is sucky. And I understand, like, I intellectually understand that this is scary, and that leaning on somebody else's understanding keeps you from being responsible. Okay. So if I don't understand what this protein does, and you say that you do, and you say to do this, and I do this, then it's kind of on you. Okay. I get all of that. But what I'm not thinking about is my responsibility in this. So I personally don't understand why, when things are going wrong, we aren't taking the steps to fix them. But I also understand as a human being that we have so many different layers that sometimes we just can't. And I get that too. Like, I am just not capable of wrapping my head around some things. I absolutely get that. I'm not there yet, but I recognize that they're there. I'm just not sure what to do about it just yet. However, seek and you shall find. Ask and it will be answered for you. Knock and the door will open. You might not like it, and it might not be pretty, and it's probably going to be hard. But you're never going to be left alone. Never, no, never will I ever leave you nor forsake you. You will never be left alone to handle this on your own. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but you will never be asked to do something that is impossible for you to do. Now, it's not that you can do it on your own. Never does it say anywhere, you and you alone are going to have to sort this out and figure this out. No, in fact, it says we are all part of the same body. We all belong to one another. So when someone pops into your mind, or when somebody has something to say, listen, even if you don't like them, you know, some people that I had to cut out of my life gave me some of the best pieces of wisdom, you know. Just because I can't be around them anymore doesn't mean everything they had to say was crap, you know? It wasn't. You know, you can't make all the mistakes in the world. It's smarter for you to learn from other people's mistakes. That's a pretty wise one, you know? And if I'm saying this with authority, or I'm acting like I know better, or I'm coming off as being pompous, please know that this is me talking out things that are going on in my head, and I watch this later because there's some things in here that I've never heard before. And there are things I needed to hear too. So, Lord, I just want to thank you for this person in front of us. I thank you for their open ears and their seeking mind. And I pray that they ask and that they listen to the people that they need to listen to. And Lord, I pray for protection and clarity to stay away from those that are not there for our good or your glory. I pray that we see through. I pray that we remember that you can only fool people who are more foolish than yourself. And I pray that we seek to be wise so that we can be this person that you were made to be, so that we can grow in that way that you need for us to grow, so that we can be there for those people that need us to be there for them. Lord, I thank you for being available to us. I thank you for loving us. And I thank you for knowing the plan, and for loving us through, and for giving us direction, even when we aren't listening. I pray for humble hearts, seeking minds, and that our goal is wisdom. I thank you for the people you have surrounding us that reflect you. And I pray that I am a good reflection of you, and that each person here, that we are seeking to reflect you in our thoughts and in our deeds and in our words and in our drools. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for never leaving us alone. And thank you for always being with us, even. You're amazing, Lord. I just pray for peace. In your beautiful and precious name we pray. Amen. Whew, that's a good grip there, Chicky. Anyway, have a beautiful and blessed day. Make today count. And celebrate the small things. Make today a day of wins. Wins. And just do this first little bit and the rest is gravy. You know? So if getting up and working out is hard for you, make it so that you just wake up and then celebrate that you woke up. It's not ridiculous. It's actually the way to change your habits. If you make it a win instead of constantly shaming and wrong, then it changes for real. For real. Anyway, have fun and make good choices.